separates good marketers from great ones. Today, our speaker for today is Franklin Ozo Kome. I don't know if I got that right. I'm sorry. So Franklin is a strategist, a futurist, and a pop culture thinker with over 17 years of experience across brand strategy, innovation, and communication. He currently serves as he currently serves as an executive vice president of strategy and innovation at Chain Reaction Africa, where he leads transformation at intersection of brand, behavior, and technology. He's also the founder of Pop Culture Varsity, African First Strategy and Cultural Foresight, which has trained and inspires thousands of creative and strategy across the continent. Over the years, he has worked with global brands including Google, Samsung, MTN, PepsiCo, and the World Bank. His work focuses on helping brands understand culture deeply and build strategy that remain relevant in a constantly evolving world. We're excited to have him join us today. Franklin, welcome. The floor is yours.
You can all see and hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. It's a privilege to be sharing knowledge, and hope it will be as interactive as possible. Thank you very much for the honor given to me. I'll be sharing my screen shortly, but I just wanted to ask in the room, just before I dive into it, we always hear that word, pop culture, cultural fluency. We need culture in our marketing. Can anyone just share with me what comes to mind when you hear these kind of descriptors? So let's even align on what it is we're even talking about. What do you feel? What do you get a sense of when you hear those kind of terminologies? What is culture in your mind? What comes to your mind immediately someone says culture?
So somebody said pop culture feels like Fela music in the
Fela's
comment
music.
section.
Okay, that's different. Pop culture feels like Fela's music. Okay, who else? Anyone that wants to share a perspective? But that's good. It is a slice of culture. Fela's music, his fight against different kind of governments, felt that things could be done differently, and his resistance movement was a form of underground culture that became mainstream through his music, through the kind of rebellious tunes he was using, even the nomenclature he gave to the place where he played, African Shrine, were all forms and descriptors. There were times where he also went on stage and he was wearing, this chain on his neck, his anger against society for non-conformity, that he would not look the part of what you would consider a pop culture icon. So everything was anti-culture, so to speak. But in being anti-culture, it was also a form of culture that permeated society. But that's a very great example. Who else has something that you think, a huge cultural format? It could be something you noticed a few days ago on TV,
Okay, so
book you've read.
comment section. Streetwears Ote. And
Ote.
somebody also says, somebody also says beliefs and values and conviction.
Beliefs and values. Okay, it's good we bring it. So when you say horticulture, it's very interesting. Give me an example of what horticulture means. Some people might not get it. What is horticulture? It is alternative, right? I think it's short form for alternative culture.
Yeah, true.
Yes. So again, I think it's also playing on that. I think streetwear, some form of streetwear, is anti-culture, it's horticulture. If you go into the workplace, you're wearing your 9 to 5 kind of kits, your suit, looking very formal and everything, and the guy comes in wearing his hat, sweatshirt, his jeans and Nikes, and he's vice president of marketing. That's horticulture, right? It's like, that's not what I expect. I think this guy is looking very, very distinct. Okay, one more question. And like I said, it's good for us to be interactive because it also gives me an idea of how you're thinking. Then I can also bounce on that to share a perspective. and what you do. Why are you in marketing? Why are we interested in anything? What does marketing do? Because when we're talking about cultural marketing, I first of all have to understand that we even understand the basics of what marketing is. And it doesn't have to be a dictionary definition. What is marketing? Why are we in marketing? So if anyone want to share the message for me, you can also share messages on the group if you want to, if you prefer to talk. What is marketing? Visibility. Okay, Sharon says visibility. Great. It is a part of marketing, one part of marketing. Okay. Okay. What is marketing? What would you call distribution a part of marketing? Distribution? You already have visibility, awareness. Okay, great. So this is part of marketing. Okay. So now, can someone give me a complete definition or description of what marketing? Because we're talking about different things now, different slices. So, what is marketing?
Somebody said, sorry, helping solve zero life.
That's problems. Good, very good. But there's a connection. Solving real business problem, I could just say it's business strategy. I'm still in the connection to marketing. Marketing means there's a give and take. There's why am I marketing to you? There's somebody I'm marketing to. I have a t-shirt. I want you to wear it. I have to market to you. What is marketing? Okay. What is marketing? Anyone wants to take that? Get a special price. Exchange of values. Okay. It could be how you propose. You set a purpose for what you're doing, your beliefs, your values are things that entrench what you want to do. But marketing itself is also a form of exchange in terms of you want to connect. There has to be a connection between ground A and ground B. And that ground A could be, yes, trying to convince others that you can meet a need they have. Beautiful. So it's everything, but here actually, I think it's from Adele Adibimpe. It is understanding customer needs. Beautiful. Understanding customer needs. And then there has to be a form of value exchange. I need this thing. I would like to get it, but I don't have it. So I see you, I go to your Instagram. Can I have this thing? Do I think I'll need it? There has to be a form of value exchange. That need or want. You have to also know that customer, they have needs and they have wants. Need is the one you can't do without. A need is like water, air, rent, education, basic things you cannot live without. Food is a need. Shelter is a need. Whoever is going to offer that need, I will probably put that in terms of my value exchange higher. A want is not something it's something I can go without. Water is a need because it quenches taste. But if I say I want Coca-Cola, it means it's a want. It could quench taste, but it could also just make me feel cool about myself. But if I don't take it, nothing's going to happen. If I don't take water, something is definitely going to happen. Do you understand? So there's need and want. So whoever is offering that customer need and want by delivering those things at a point of purchase value, and it could be in kind, it could be in financial terms, it could be whatever exchange that thing is. Then now the thing that happens is, how do I market you? I might have that thing, you might have that need, I might not know about it, which is where marketing comes into play. How do I market that need or that want? How do I let you know I also need that need or that want? So that is where, that is the industry which we play, which is very exciting, and which is why we've built so many interesting disciplines. We have public relations, we have advertising, we have sales, we have digital, we have experiential, so on and so on. So many sub-disciplines. Now we have artificial intelligence all brought into play to ensure that there's some bit of connection. I think that's the most powerful term. That there has to be a connection, because I might have a need, but because I don't connect with what your values are, which is why I love the person that said values, I might not want to buy and I might need it. But I'm like, no, is it Tope? Tope said that thing against a political candidate I liked. I'm not going to buy it from her. But Franklin, you're gonna hustle for this thing. You need to I'll struggle for 2 days. Just because you don't like the person's values, which is why your organization and brand values are very, very, very key. But connection is the key word. If I connect with you, I like what he said. I don't even want to buy him, but just because I like him or I would like to support what they're doing, I probably might, do this. And we do those things where we do, contributions and so on and so forth. So your perception, your belief, someone also wrote beliefs here. That was a very good contribution. Beliefs, that was Sharon. Beliefs, values, convictions make your marketing so much easier to sell through. Your business strategy, which is set aside, is also very, very key. So there's so many foundations we need to go through to understand it. So what I'm bringing into the perspective is how can culture also make this thing fluid, make it simple, make it clean, make it so, attractive rather than just being, noise. How do we go from just visibility and awareness, which is beautiful at the start, to ensuring that there's some bit of continuance and sustainability? Because after a while, you might like, I like it, but I've heard it for 2 days. I don't want to hear it again. Sometimes you're watching your favorite program, and your favorite, brand comes into be like, not now that I'm watching this podcast. Like, can you get that thing off right now? It's irritating me. It's you, the right time, but you're not feeling it at that time. So again, connection is the key thing to understanding what we're doing here. Raisa, sorry, I hope that's the right name. Raisa Chisholm says, harnessing connections, beautiful, between buyer and seller, both parties using user psychology. I think that's powerful. Pain points and offering a solution in return. Beautiful, because you have to understand the mindset of this, your logic to understand that this person has a need or want, but also using emotion to feel like this is not the right time I should say this thing. So there has to be some bit of emotional intelligence. Even if it's the right time, he has the right amount, he has the need, it might not be the right time to say it to him or her. So there has to be some sort of psychology, understanding the user need, understanding the user experience, which is why I said it might not be the best time to share a particular ad. So I think beautiful contribution so far. And I love the engagement. I'll share my screen, and please, I'll be checking the your message box in case I have notes. Can you see my screen, please? Let me know. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Let me share. It's going to be on full screen, so I won't be able to look at your chat notes if it's not. So please take questions when I finish. I'll take questions. Okay. Let me know if you see my screen now. Full screen.
Yes.
Awesome. So for today's masterclass, I'm going to be talking about pop culture. To me, I call it pop capital because to me it's the capital of marketing, it's the capital of wherever it is we're going. So if you can make that nice, I feel culture is a currency, and currency ultimately is a capital. Capital translated into financial gains, translated into economical gains, translated into human and growth gains, which is why I call it Africa's growth machine. And I think it's one of the biggest things that is laying on our laps that has zero gain. That means anyone can actually connect with it and do something totally, totally different. So we're going to be talking about how we can convert cultural momentum into commercial growth. How we're going to translate cultural momentum, that's the growth and evolution of culture as a thing, into commercial growth. That is marketing, business, strategic development. And a slight introduction. I know some bit have been shared. My background has been in strategy for over a decade plus. I started with advertising agencies like Media Reach, Insight Publicis, and I'm also now at Chain Reactions. But I've also run startups on the side because sometimes I get very restless. I'm almost like trying to do 3-4 different things at the same time. So I run a pop culture platform called Masquerade, which is the belief that everyone hides behind a mask. And the more you tear off someone's mask, the more you see more layers of it. And it's not like the person, he or she knows, someone has to make those connections. So I call it Masquerade. And it's about understanding the different layers behind the human face and how pop culture can make marketing ultimately attractive, sexier, cooler, and bring gravitas into play. I also run a pop culture school called, Pop Culture Varsity, which is we train people to become good strategists and for them to also understand everything around them, whether it's makeup, your hairstyle, how you look, the many times you touch your face, the symbols you do, how you can turn those things into unique formats that can make your marketing ultimately, the best in the world. And that takes a bit of intelligence. So, which is why I love understanding what pop culture is. I teach trends as well at Orange Academy, but now I'm delving into cultural foresight, which is trying to understand trends, but using it as a scenario to see what the future is. Using that as a way to see if this has happened so many times, what could possibly happen in the next 5-6 months, and can we start planning for that 5-6 months? So that's where I am trying to understand consumer intelligence, and I worked on different brands across the world, both local and international. Like I said, it's a privilege to share my perspective with AIM1 and all of mentees here on this program. Lovely to connect with you, and if there's anything, please let me know how we can move on board. And I think for our generation, we stand at a pivotal moment in human history. Why? Because when we were growing up, we had a lot of limitations in what we were doing, and we think it was the best at that time. We have few TV stations, few radio stations. Online was still called, social media was barely, or maybe with Facebook, still trying to find themselves. If you put one billboard, in Maryland or on Victoria Island CMS bus stop, was like the biggest thing since sliced bread. There's nobody that's never not going to see that ad because there were very few of them. So if you could take a big spectacular board, your ad was definitely going to be seen. If you put your ad on 8 o'clock at the popular TV. We used to have a lot of popular TV series then, whether it's, I can't even remember some of them, but it's Behind the Clouds or Papa Jasko's Super Story. It was a huge hit. Yeah. But now there's so many things gaining for attention. I mean, past 2 days, I've just been trying to brush up on my AI skills with Claude AI and also trying to do some creatives. And every time I want to go to search, before I would have to go to Google. Now I go to ChatGPT to even ask a question. I love watching TV series that anything that has to do with CIA, foreign intelligence, drug lords. So I was watching Narcos, and maybe that's like 100 times I've watched that TV series. So I was checking again who wrote this program because the idea of the writing fascinated me. Like there was a kind of brilliant mind that wrote this script that was turned into a 3 part series. So I was asking. Naturally, I would not only go to Google, but I just naturally went to AI, and it gave me almost like a 3-minute read on the thinking, the books that were planned, exchange, budgets, production, everything. And I paused, what I was doing on Netflix, and I spent another 10 minutes informing myself. And that's the beauty of where we are in right now. So we have so many things at place, which is why I think it's a beautiful moment. But it could also be a very huge gap because while a lot of people are open to it and receptive and learning, some are like, this will pass. It's just a hot trend. And those people will gain so much skills and move so far ahead that you'll be trying to catch up in the next few years. So I think it's something we also need to take seriously. I don't think it's a hot trend. I think it's something that will determine the level of your performance going forward. And in marketing, we always talk about growth as if it's a product of performance, which is, how many sales did you do this year? How many customer targets did you talk to? How many likes did you have? And I think that metric was good for the world we were growing up in. I don't think you can be asking if you put, AI as part of your media plan or your digital campaign thing. You're going to be asking, did we get the right media matrix? Did we improve the customer retention? Did we optimize the funnel? Those things have been done very well for decades, and trust me, they work. Books have been written, frameworks have been doing, but it's almost like we're entering an era. I think we've even entered that era where those tools will be hard to even convert or even break right now. So, which is why I think we're in a scenario where we're learning and we're building. So, the more we learn, the more we'll see things convert faster. And the thing is, growth doesn't just stand in that funnel; it stands in culture. Look at around you today. the kind of food you ate, what's informing the meal you took this morning. I went to iFitness this morning. I spent like two hours there. When I was coming out, I took 1% boost. Not because of the ads or anything. I just felt I should take it because I saw the way it was arranged in the fridge. I held that thing and walked all the way home and I put it in the freezer. I'm still asking myself, why did I even buy it? You know, some of those subconscious things we do. I felt when I saw in the fridge, I think maybe I even liked the decor of how it was arranged. I just wanted a piece of that design. Let me use that word because I was holding it. I didn't feel tested. I was like, why did I buy this drink? I go home, I put it in the freezer before I start preparing for this masterclass. So sometimes we do a lot of things out of our subconscious, something that we've been planning, literally, or something that we see that makes us move. The kind of music you listen to, you see someone you admire the way they dress, you consciously tell your tailor to sew you or design something like that. The kind of things that we follow. So everything around that ultimately permeates in culture, but we probably don't consciously look at it that way. Those slices affect the things we do down the line. So I think real growth actually starts in the things we do right from when we wake up, not when we're looking at a computer screen and we'll start saying, okay, let me now do the analysis. Why this person liked my ad or why haven't I converted? Those people probably made those decisions unconsciously, even before they saw whatever it is you had to do. Unconsciously, those things have been on their brain, thinking, formulating without them even knowing, which is why I say advertising is a very interesting business that we're in. Now, the trick is how can you permeate and dissect culture long enough for you even to see what the tricks are in and how to, make, it as part of your growth machine. So I'll just go straight to the point here. I think it's a very strong competitive advantage. One, because it's a very new space. A lot of people don't even understand it as a power advantage. But more importantly, you can also build a framework that can work with you very, very well. Again, and key examples lay across the different things with you. Now, I'm going to make it more. So what do you see when you see the first or second pictures on screen? What comes to mind? Who's that on the mic? What do you see here? What do you see happening here? A lot of rituals going on here. The lady who's doing the makeup thing, the one who is doing like when you do your serenity, trying to find inner peace and self, and those who like nightlife, whether it's there in December or having a lounge or celebrating a birthday friends, or those who love their popular Afrobeat sound. So, like I said, these are all accents of culture that we probably connect with because they make us feel good. They give us good vibes. Now, what marketing has tried to do is if people like this thing, let me take a slice of it and add it to my advertising campaign. Adding a slice of what you do to your campaign is not culture in itself. It doesn't tick the cool box. Taking a brand, standing with it, and feeling cool with it does not necessarily mean the people who love that artist will take that drink. And we've seen many scenarios of that thing. I might like the artist. I might not even give it two toes about the brand. So here's while there are some other instances where the engagement actually transforms that brand on that product, which is why there's two sides to it. There's always the logic part of it. There's also the emotional side of it. And what we want to do is try to understand both slices of it so that we don't make those mistakes. So what people are missing is it's not just a cool add-on. You add it, let's add this music. Let's put on this, ginger tune. Let's bring this influencer to share a note or content on our social media post. All those are neither here or there because those are just like trying to put an add on what we're doing. I think culture isn't just a seasoning like you put in your food. It's the actual fire. It's something that you deliberately build and then you deliberately transform into a movement. And the way we can do that is if approach. I'm going to share the next few slides. Because if we don't, then it just looks like a game, like something like a gimmick, like something people always talk about. So there are three core things culture can always help with. If you're looking for commercial gain, it can help with commercial gain, definitely. But the more interesting thing is it can help us bring meaning into what we're doing. When people behave in a certain way, they want to understand what is driving those values. And we talk about belief system, we talk about a value system. And I think the other key thing is how do we now drive momentum? If I'm feeling something, I like it. I want you to take an action. That action is where a lot of brands fail. And that is the formula we want to put on the table. How can I bring sense into what I'm saying, bring meaning into it, but more interesting, bring momentum into it? Because when momentum comes into it, we now say it's a movement. So how do I bring momentum into what I say? So you don't just like it, you just drink it or eat it, but we translate it. For us to understand how to turn culture into momentum, we first of all understand the power of what it does. So we already know what we're working with. I always regard culture as capital, which is why I call it it's pop capital. It's like the capital of where growth is going. So how do we recognize it? How do we build a system and framework around it that will help create demand, that will help create relevance, and that will help create revenue? Especially in a market like ours, where every single day there's always something new, exciting happening. Whether it's on TikTok, Snapchat, WhatsApp, or LinkedIn, we're always having new cool things happening every day. But the thing is, because there's a lot going on, trust is very fragile. You never know what's going to happen next. So it takes a very close person or a very strong community to help build that trust base. And while we're trying to build that trust base, AI entered the picture. Now, we're seeing so many ads. Let's give an example of what's happening in the Iran-American war. And we don't even know what is the truth anymore. What is real and what's not. Before the president traveling to the UK, we saw a lot of things being shared on X. No one knows again what is the truth or not. People have to force to either deny it, or some people already take it for granted. Even our own brand skin, people can share positive or negative stories of our brand using AI. We have AI platforms that can generate lookalikes, that can share slang, speak in vernacular, Yoruba, sing a song. And so while we have to contend with natural human failures and issues, we now have to deal with artificial intelligence, which makes what we're doing a whole lot more. And the more we share prompts in our platforms, no matter the one you use, they all organize at a central base. The more you share it, the more it's learning. The more it's learning, the more it becomes better at what it's doing. The more it's better at what it's doing, the more it shows algorithms. That means the thing it thinks you should share, the recommend and usage formats. So for us to move forward, we have to understand that pop culture is the capital, and it's the only thing that can give us a very unique human flaw, a human element that the machines cannot learn. The natural attribute when you're talking to your friend and you just bust out laughing. That's a very natural human element that no one is expecting. When you're talking and you move from English into slang, it's a very human trait. So those flaws, why some people may look at them as negatives, actually see what makes it very, very strong for us. So AI is learning to perfect cultural fluency. But the thing is, it's also still do that in a very algorithmic, a very methodical way. What we bring into it as human is a very natural accent. Humor, for example, is a very unique accent. How we eat and how we describe food is a very unique and natural accent. So those are the things that we can use as our framework that can make what we're doing very, very, very unique, and it can help us propel what we're doing beyond AI, beyond data. So while those things are there, and it's good for us to take cognizance of them, it's very good for us to understand that what we're doing, we need to understand is cultural fluency, and that helps us build this thing. So I want to go straight to the framework. So our next book is how do we build this framework that helps us understand how culture is capital, and how do we move intelligently behind it? How do we ensure that if we want to, we can deliberately design a movement or a trend and turn them into a system or a pattern? And I said there are 4 key things that we need to look into. So I call them the 4 layers or the 4 forces of cultural momentum. One is, whether we like it or not, there's always going to be tension. Right? In Nigeria, I'm sure you agree, there's tension everywhere. At home, there's tension. At the workplace, there's always tension. So that's one key attribute. Trends is always something that you can never run away from. It's always reoccurring. How you navigate them and how you use them is the thing that will make you different from the next person. Tribes, a form of community. Communities are everywhere. You could be in a bicycle club, fitness club, food club, the book reading club, but you might be in that club or community and you don't even talk for 6 months with that group. A tribe is a more stronger subset of the community where you are deliberately engaged and you have a role to play. So it's not enough that 10 of us are in the group, but I have a role to play, and together we can contribute something to make that thing worthwhile. And then there are triggers. things that happen when we're planning something, it comes from nowhere. For example, you're planning to do this, and next thing, the fuel prices increase while you're planning to transport cassava to your hometown, and you're already on the road. So you're forced to work with what is given to you. Other triggers could be something someone says that creates a spark, an unrest, and a civil unrest, a riot, what someone says that causes a negative PR on X. All those are triggers that sometimes we don't even plan for them, but we have to make do with what they're going. It could be a symbol, it could be a signal. So these are the 4 forces that we have to understand that could help us create that cultural momentum. Now, on the one end, you could look at them as actually obstacles, because all of these things, they probably take away from what I can do. But if we can understand them, then it gives us, it strengthens our movement. And the thing is to understand that it also moves in a cyclical manner, from tensions to trends to tribes to triggers. So at the heart of the cultural momentum, those 4 key layers help us scale influence, and it helps us shape behavior. So tensions, like I said, is usually born out of friction. How you navigate when you have an obstacle, the things you decide at the spur of the moment, is a slice of culture that is true to you. When a generation feels pulled between 2 opposing desires, whether it's tradition versus modernity, whether it's hustle versus reset, whether it's visibility versus privacy, those actions you take in the middle would actually invent a new way of doing things. And when it's done over a period of time, people begin to copy it. So that's a new culture burden in itself. So tension begets sets of new cultural fluency, things that you never even plan to do. So I don't want to follow the traditional subset. There's a tension. I create a new decision. Those things that help me inform that new decision will be a key instrument in bringing a new culture to play in that way, and tension. So I said tension is key everywhere, but some look at it as a form of, how do I even survive in this Nigeria, this country where we do every time? Which is why you share people using hashtag soft life. Like, no matter how hard the country is, I'm going to live a soft life, this holiday period. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to go to the spa. I'm going to eat certain foods. I'm going to hang out and stuff. So in the midst of tension, people still want to share a narrative that they are trying to do well. They will try to do better. They will try to build themselves, try to self-forget. So that in itself becomes like the trend that people now feel like, I'm going to show my own soft life. I'm in the couch eating my ice cream with my pizza and watching my favorite TV program. To you, that's soft life. While someone actually goes to a very expensive hotel, spends thousands of dollars, and to them, you could regard that is the ultimate soft life. So, especially in outside of the world, wherever there's a tension, you can be sure that there's a duplicate of what that thing could enforce. So, whether it's people that are selling things on the street or people that are navigating Uber and trying to go with, there's always one form or bit of tension or cultural attributes that you can share that actually breaks the norm. So these are just some examples of them. So tensions are powerful because they refill unmet needs. People can complain, people can cry about stuff, but it's an emotional white space where new brands or products and rituals can lead to things like you do. Beneath those things can trigger the way. The other force of cultural momentum I said was trends. And this is a very interesting because trends come and go. It could be hot for a minute and then it could disappear. So trends are like patterns of behavior that you notice over time. They are visible expressions of deeper cultural shifts. There's a platform called Waka Now. I don't know if you've heard it. It's like where people join a community and all they do is work. I don't know if you've heard this. Has anyone heard of, just get up what you're doing and try to do a little bit of walking every single day, and it's become very, very popular, here and in Europe. So it has also, created a huge burst of community where, from skating to bicycle riding to going to the gym, people feel you can still be very healthy, not just by eating fruits and trying to regularize how you eat and drink every day, but just doing at least 20 to 30 minutes of walking every single day within your premises, within your estate, within your compound, within your street, so that it helps build a whole new system of wellness, and that has translated into a trend, So from a personal habit, personal behavior, has turned into something people are now also adopting. So your personal traits or something you like, depending on your culture, but also these are just examples of trends that became viral led because of things, being in the right platforms, people sharing them, and connecting with them. And, it could be how you're dressing, the kind of kicks you're doing, and things that you try to push with you. Tribes, like I said, is a subset of the community, but it's very emotional subset because everyone has a role to play. It's not something you join in and you build out and you stay silent. And like I said, it exists in different, so in Telegram, your TikTok, even within, within your family subunit, where everyone is engaged to listen. The unique thing about Tribe is they usually have a key objective or project they're working at a particular point in time. It could be, we want to get these environments, sustainable within 6 months. So that is the project. We want to host our estate party at the end of the month. We want to do this birthday party for the, so it's usually a very focused objective that they try to set. But the good thing about it is the kind of things you gist, you talk about, you share, just to make sure you achieve that objective could also be gauged as attributes of cultural flex, because those things you share might be very, very unique to your group. And if somebody were able to look inside, they might get a lot of insights into how you people are thinking, how you people are talking, and how people sell something to you that is so much more in WhatsApp group communities and sell my sneaker canvas to them, rather than just taking a $1,000 ad and put it on WhatsApp or Instagram and hoping someone sees it somewhere and they can connect to me and they can buy. But I can be very sure
Hello?
Hello. I think Franklin is trying to resolve his connection. I don't. Can anyone hear me? Let me be sure I'm not the only person.
Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear you. Just wanted to be
Okay.
certain.
Good morning, Nana. Good to hear your
Good
voice.
morning. Good morning. Right, good morning.
Yeah. But I think he's trying to resolve it. The team is reaching out immediately. But how's the
Okay.
session been so far, everyone? This let's. Has it been? Has it been? Has it been? While we wait for Franklin to connect.
Oh, it's been quite interesting, very insightful, awesome. Like Rejoice said, quite awesome.
Thank God, thank God.
Yeah.
That's
And it's
great.
actually a good thing that we're doing culture right now, pop culture, because it's really key,
Yeah,
and it really aligns with a lot of the marketing strategies that
mhm.
some of the mentees will have to work on. So it's a
Yeah.
good thing. It's
Thank,
awesome.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's great we're getting value, both mentors and mentees. I like. Um,
Yes, yes.
great. Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're
We
welcome.
really love you being around. The mentees around, please let me see your hands. Oh yeah, everybody put your hands up. Let me see your emoji. Let me see your emojis. The mentees online. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, Clementina, Bamishe, Amolade, great. Let me see. I hope I catch everyone. I want to mention everybody. Yes. My Josiah, great. Dolapo, good. Trust me, we had to take some Zacchaeus moves to get some of these great minds here. Sharon, Samuel, good. Yeah. So the quality that you guys would actually absorb throughout this program is something that we're hopeful that the industry would even feel in the nearest future. Gifts, yes, I see you. Johan, great. I think, Johan, you're joining from Gabon, right? Gabon. Yeah, and I know there's a litness from Rwanda thereabout. So well done. Thanks a lot for joining. Penthil, great to have you here. Emmanuel, well done. Amaka, any update on Franklin? Before we go on, so we don't keep people here for too long. And I can see some other great mentors here. I see Peter Desanya, great to have you here. Great, Peter. This is a gathering of great strategists around here. I can see Anthony, Emeka, great guys. Great to have you guys here.
It's a pleasure, brother.
Thank you. And I know the time difference and having you around. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining, and I hope we've all
Anytime.
engaged. Guys, thank God. While we wait for Franklin, the demo day is going to be physical. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. Let's play on that day. We're gonna have industry titans coming. I know Rejoice is going to flog me for doing this now because she has a timeline to engage you people. But yeah, back end, I'm willing to take the whole lashes for you people. Don't worry. But the demo day is happening on the 25th of April at Bagada. It's a physical event, but we're going to make it hybrid for those that are outside the country. Again, this is very exclusive. I remember having a chat with Franklin during the week, and he was, I think his team and some other people from his end were asking for the registration link, and we told them you have to wait for the next cohort. It's an exclusive, session with just for MMP. So you see how special you guys are. So it's an exclusive session. The next session with Babalanko is also going to be, something very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to that as well. The idea is to shape our minds so that when we even go into the field, we have a new understanding of the gameplay. I think 5 months ago, I had written about engines and thinking in engines and marketing as it is. And all of these things have been reflected in the systems conversation, because I think mentally we need to have that level of thinking if we even want to shift marketing or play, at the pace that would obviously drive the world in the future of marketing in Africa. So yeah, that's why we're trying to prime our minds and at least balance these guest sessions with the one-on-ones we have with our mentors as well. I see some hands raised, so I will take some of your questions if you have. While we please wait for Franklin, because this session is really it's needed. It's really needed, and I've been enjoying it so far. Enjoying the pillars he's been talking about. Omotoyosi, did you raise your hand? Or did you drop your hand?
Yes, I did.
Okay, do you have a question?
Oh no, we're going to the Florida.
Oh, great. So sorry, I didn't know that. Now it feels like I punished you. Please drop your hands. Drop your hand. I just wanted to know that you were here. Grateful for everyone that have joined. It's really something that would help you. It's not something that you would, get in your day-to-day work. And while you're also priming yourself towards the nearest future. What we're trying to sell here is access to these great minds that have, offered their time, which is something you can never repay. They've had to walk through their journeys on their own. Please confirm you can hear me. My team backend, they're saying they can't hear.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So yeah, most of your mentors have had to work through this on their own, through this journey on their own, and guiding you in this manner is something that please you should value for life. It's no joke. It's no joke at all. Yeah. We're trying to reach Franklin back end, and I'm getting because his connection is bad. I will try to reach him on my own.
So can you hear me now?
Oh, great. Yes. Welcome back, boss. I think he's off again.
Sorry.
Okay, you're back.
Yeah.
Great. We can hear you now.
Okay. Went offline briefly, right? Where did you stop? See my screen.
Okay. Yeah, you were off for about 5 minutes, thereabout.
5 minutes. So where part of this thing did you stop? Like, so I'll know where to start the presentation.
Let me check.
Let me know if you can see my screen, please.
Yes, we can. So we stopped at tribes. We were still talking about tribes when you went off. Growth is psychographic, tribal, and emotional.
Okay. That was it. Okay, so this is the slide, right?
Yes, this is it. Thank
Awesome.
you. So I tried to just fill in while you were away. So please, this is all you.
Thank you very much. You did a great job. Thank you. So I said growth can be found in WhatsApp groups, Telegram channels, or niche spaces. The unique thing about tribes is they are subsets of communities. Communities are usually very broad. You know, being a community with 500, 6,000 people, you may not say anything, you might not even contribute anything. Nobody even knows you're there. But a tribe means you are forced to participate. And you have a core objective all of you are trying to do. Sometimes one core objective or project for a period of time. For example, we want to launch a park for kids at the end of the month. Tunde, you will do this. Franklin, you will do this. And everybody puts in an effort to do that thing. Another tribe is, okay, make sure 15 people attend this program. So everyone has a role to play. So it's a unique form. The key thing about tribe is because we're all connecting with each other, we have one particular goal, we're sharing, dissecting and stuff. There's a lot of insights an outsider can see that we can use as currency. So those are unique ways to see where cultural layers are forming even before they've done that. The other one, the other cultural force is what I call triggers, which is every culture needs a spark or a symbol or a signal. It could be something that happened and it turned into a meme or a popular reservation stuff. People are usually influenced by what other people are doing. It could even be a political event. It could be a national policy. It could be a major something that strikes off what people like, good or bad. So those triggers, usually people start thinking.
Next time, that one will went out.
Yeah. Behaving influence. Okay. So why does this matter? Most brands usually wait until culture becomes obvious. Then they try to play catch up. When something is very popular, they want to bring an influencer, but those things are fine. But at the level we are, today's world, where everyone is a culture curator, everyone is a content, this thing, it means at the same time you're getting that information, everyone is doing the same thing. So the only way you can move smarter is by trying to understand those cultural forces, trends, triggers, tribes, and try to understand what is differently. How can I use that thing to move a notch up more than this? How can I spot the tension early? How can I ignite that trigger? How can I gain my insight into the research I'm doing on my e-commerce brand early? How do I connect this? And all of those things have to be customized and done deliberately. So those are some of the key things. And I said, for us to turn culture into a commercial advantage, we have to do it from a very predictive perspective. And there are there's 4 frameworks I usually use for it. So here is what I call the cultural flywheel, which is spot the signal, co-create the moment, activate the soul, and build the ritual. Once we do all of this, then we can translate culture into meaning. So spot the signal means, what are those things I need to observe early? It doesn't have to be a topical trend, but there are things I observe around me, and there are forces I can use to build what I'm doing. I can use it to create a momentum. And once I create that momentum, who do I need to help me to this thing? One of the things we have to know is a lot of us as individuals and either as groups, either in offices or teams, we have unique strengths and things we bring to the table. In today's world, don't think you can do everything alone. People have unique assets that you might not have. So try to also see if you can collaborate with someone who already has that access, who already has a talent somewhere, so that you can move faster with your idea. Otherwise, you can spot the signal, or you might not be able to create momentum because you kept the idea on your desktop for 2 months, 6 months, hoping you can develop your website, or you can market, when you could have connected with 2, 3, 4 people and you could have made that thing go to market instantly. So try to create that moment by also collaborating with people who you think can make your force work faster for you. Activate the soul means trying to understand, one, yourself, why you exist. Why are you even doing this? Is this something you want to do, or because you saw Chiamaka doing it? Is this something that is really true to you? Because if you don't put yourself into it, then you might not give it all the energy. You might be excited about it for 5 days, 1 week, 2 months. Afterward, you don't feel like doing it. It's like some of us that want to go to the gym. Oh, today's going to the gym. Everyone goes to the gym, so I'm going to go to the gym. You go there for 2, 3 days, then you burn out. You're not interested. You need it, but you're not enthused. You don't wake up feeling like doing that because it's not really you. So that is the key thing. So always check that you look inwardly at yourself in terms of anything you do. And when you do that, always ask, what is the purpose of this project or this thing you're working? Because that is the thing that will make your own momentum much more unique. You can bring your own point of view or your own perspective to how you want to market to a brand. It could be about games betting. It could be about super sports. It could be about, trying to sell alcoholic brands, or even trying to revolutionize an Islamic bank. You must have a point of view that sets the tone. If you don't have that point of view, then people's own will move you towards something that you either like or you don't, but you cannot complain afterwards. And if you want to be at the forefront of culture, then you must also own it. You must understand it, and you must be very deliberately about how you move around it. Then building rituals means, how do I make people not just like or love, download something, but it's something that become part of their daily to do. The way you get up and you check your WhatsApp before you do anything else, or the way you get up before you go to the toothbrush to use it. So how can I turn this into something you navigate to effortlessly without me having to remind you every single time? And I think this is where brands want to play. They can create awareness, they can create visibility. After the awareness and visibility of the campaign ends, I also go away. And brands are forced to ask, if we spend so much time conversing people to drink our brand, use our product, use all this influencer, the campaign ends, why did they move on to the other product? That's human beings. So if it's not something they've instituted as something that they want to live up to, then it will always fall flat. So these are the things that we do, that we used to try to create meaning. And for most of us who are in marketing or advertising, we don't just want to create, we also want to see how we can monetize it, how we can translate meaning into something. So I've put a lot of, there are a lot of case studies here that I'll share, but I don't want to go into them. Those are just examples of how to bring some of these things to life. That was a good example by James saying that they just show the marketing campaign, but also try to make sure that they live the brand. So it's what I call moving from storytelling. Don't just tell the story, live the story, and let consumers also live the story. Another good example is Nike, where they share an idea of the new sneaker product they're doing, and they ask for contributors from developers, people who are into this thing, so that they also co-produce the product with them. And then when they're trying to market it, all of them have a role to play. So it's not just Nike trying to talk to tens of thousands of people. All those developers want to make sure that you also buy their own specific brand, what they contribute to. So everyone has a stake in it. I think it's one unique part we've not done very well here in this part of the world, but I think it could also create this thing. Especially, like I said, everything today is really about mass customization, not just mass marketing. Everyone wants to feel unique. So even if I'm buying the hottest sneaker, I want to feel like I'm the only one wearing it. Not if I go into the gym, 500 of us are wearing. So how can you bring that mass customization? That's the hard work, like I said, but that's where the currency is, and that's what will ultimately make your own brand do. Another unique way brands are tapping into culture is, when something is hot, or like when the Deadpool movie came up, brands like tomato ketchup, latched onto it by also creating, graphic novels, billboard ads to roll around that same thing, using the same characters to tell the story. That's a very unique play. From packaging, when you go in store to buy the product, to how you navigate this thing, they created characters, that made this thing very, very true to life. So it wasn't just, like I said, don't just add culture as a bit of cool where I just take your brand and I hold it. But it actually permits usage as intrinsic. That's a very unique way of this. And so there are very many examples of how people have tapped into it, from even local artists that have done great works using, digital works to create their art culture, building unique stuff, from self-wear to launching NFT projects. People are doing great and amazing stuff, like I said. But most of these people don't do the traditional form of marketing. They won't even categorize themselves as marketers. They don't go to school to study marketing. They do their own thing, but they learn on the way. So if we are professional marketers or practitioners, then it's very important that we also study how these guys have done this thing very well, and also embrace and add it to what we're doing, so that we can engineer and create a very unique cultural value in terms of how we play and stuff. So for us to be very strong cultural fluencies, we must have the mental capacity to do it. We must be very strategic. And like I said, marketing is very, very key. But the thing is, culture too is usually very unpredictable. Today, everyone is laughing about something. Tomorrow, everyone is shouting against it. But that is the uniqueness, which is where AI can't come in, because it's very focused on what you've prompted into it. Human beings are very, very prompt. Today, we're crying. Tomorrow, we're shouting yes to something. We said yes to yesterday. So that is where we bring mental logic to it. That's where we bring emotional intelligence to it. We'll also be very, very strategic into how we bring that thing and about. So with that, I close this masterclass, and the question I'll put to you is, how would you want to build a brand that people attach meaning to? And I think that's what we've shared here. We'll use this as a format to close the workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Franklin. I don't know, can you hear me? Okay, thank you very much, Franklin. That was a very insightful section, especially about the perspective on how marketing connects culture and shapes meaning. So right now we're going to the question and answer sections. Please, if you have any questions, please can you put this in the comment section.